So it's good to see everybody today, and it's a pleasure to be with all of you. Today is the very second day of August, 2026, and for many people, it's a very significant day. I think it was today that Fela died. I think I'm not sure again, but that's a significant time. And I know that the jazz club that I belong to Lagos Jazz Society. And there's been a lot of buzz about celebration and celebrating the legacies of the Abami Eda himself. But today is also a special day in our family because this is 29 years we've been married. And so it's a special time also, just 1 year short of 30. And we thank God for all that he has done and he's doing and he's going to continue to do. But today is also the beginning of a new series that we have in this wisdom study, wisdom literature that we've been studying for the past few months. And today is going to be the beginning. Thank you, everyone, for all your emojis and all your icons, celebratory icons that you are sharing. But today is also going to be taking us for almost 2 weeks. About 2 weeks, we're going to be looking at this exciting book. This is one of those books that I really, really enjoy teaching at the Ministry Training Academy, the MTA, and of course the School of Missions. And when I teach this book, it brings like a sobering reflection to everyone. It starts in a sobering way, and it also ends in a sobering way. Of course, we know who wrote this book. You can tell, even though his name, he didn't say his name, he gave out so much clues that they will say even the blind, it is visible to the blind and it is audible to the lame. Audible to the deaf. And so we arrive at this total point. This what I will call the transformational doorway as we continue to learn in this wisdom series. And I know and I believe that the book of Proverbs has opened up so much in our lives in terms of our character, our godliness, the way we carry ourselves, the values that we carry. It has challenged our diligence, our everything has to do with work and faith also. So this same man penned this down at a very interesting time of his life. Somebody who was that wise, who gave all those proverbs. This was a very low time in his life where he began to share. This is actually a reflective literature. So we've spent all these months, walking around through all this. It sounds more like a marketplace. It's like when I go to a marketplace, you see so many things. Sometimes I call it a salad, I call it a buffet. Marketplace is so many things. And the book of Proverbs have revealed all this to us. So we now want to pivot into what I think is one of the most intellectually honest. Another word may be raw. You're going to see some more raw, statements as we continue to go on. When I say no holds bar, very intellectually honest. People in the academia or in the intellectual sphere, there's always something about not being open. One time I was talking to my professor. I said, "Why do professors talk the way you guys talk? You never answer questions." And the guy just laughed and said, "Well, that's what professors do." They don't answer questions. A question, I'll just go ramble, and I don't answer the question. But this is intellectually honest book. It is raw. It is deeply philosophical. And it's probably the most deeply philosophical book in the entire Bible. That's debatable. That's just how I feel. So as we continue this wisdom for life, anchored in God's presence, we look at this. And today I'm just going to be doing the introduction, and I'm going to hold myself back that I don't spill into other areas that you're going to be, learning, but introduction and also part one. So think about it this way: if the book of Proverbs gave us rules, which is what is rules on how you execute your daily life, daily execution. Okay, this is what you should do. Don't be a sluggard. Don't be naive. Don't be simple. Now, when we now come to Ecclesiastes, what does it do? Ecclesiastes, I believe, provides us with there's physical word, we call it existential. Okay, it gave us the existential baseline. The book of Ecclesiastes is going to force you to audit the why, not just what, the why that we are building in the first place. Why? Yesterday was a very busy day for me. Of course, all my day begins like 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm up. Of course, we have this devotional. Then from devotional at 7 o'clock, I had to jump into the BPM training program. Yesterday was our what we call the media reset because of when we began. So yesterday was our media reset, and from there, other disciples, I had to go spend the rest of the day till like 8:30. Some disciples to encourage some disciples that have been very, very sick. I'm talking about sickness near death. When you are sick and you go into a coma, come out, and you lose your memory of so many things. This disciple was sharing how they can't even remember their bank password again. They can't remember, you can't remember your internet password. You can't remember. The person had to go back to bank and start, sir, can you please, I need to get my password and everything. And during those moments, those quiet moments, this person began to share that, I could have been gone. I could have died. But look at me, I'm here. Now began to ask questions. And when people begin to ask those kind of questions, you listen. I didn't say a word. Just listen to them. You don't argue with them. You don't try to talk them out of. Just listen. That's why the Bible says it's good to go to the house of mourning where you learn. And this person began to say, what is this life? What is life? Is it that we made all these things up? Is there a God? Or are we just living our lives, just living whatever happens? Today we are here, tomorrow we are gone. And I was just listening and nodding my head. This person is not a show of faithlessness, but it's a recounting. It's an audit. You are auditing that what more do I really have? Why am I here? What is all this thing about? We make money, then tomorrow we can't spend it. Today you are healthy, tomorrow you are not healthy. I mean, just the same yesterday before, just shortly after the devotional was when I heard that we lost our sister, Adoye Ikumi. Today you are here. I remember the last SMS I shared with Doye, and when she responded, I had wanted her to really to join a group that can help her boost her coaching career and everything. But today we are here. Tomorrow we are somewhere else. So let's look at the architect or the architecture of this Ecclesiastes. So when you begin to read Ecclesiastes, which I'm sure a lot of us are going to start reading, I want to encourage you, you may read ahead. All right. Okay. If you know we're going to do chapter 2 tomorrow, start reading it today or tomorrow during the day, so that some of those things become familiar. So it's actually to draw out the real essence of meaning. And I must tell you, Solomon wrote these things talking about what he has experienced. Okay, so he was not feeling that way when he was writing this thing. Solomon was a man who knew what it means to praise God, to serve God, to lead the people of God, to talk about this is what will happen to you if you don't follow God. And he also witnessed in his own life what it means to fall from grace, and to find a way to come back. So it was after he came back that he now called an assembly together. When we are teaching kingdom study, we talk about the word ecclesia. So this is Ecclesiastes. This is a teacher. In fact, he was not named by name there, but everything that the description he gave about him will tell you who is talking. And so he became the teacher at this time, or the preacher. Okay, some other, what you call him, the preacher. And this preacher began to call an assembly. Say, let's gather together. If you will, a church, let's gather together an assembly, and let me share my experiences, with you. So you need to understand what this guy is doing. So it is not a negative book. It's a man sharing his life. I remember when I began, the first time I studied deeply on this thing was probably 2004. Yeah, around that time, 2004, I began studying deeply, and I fell in love with the book of Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes is like somebody that lives in a story building. Let's say 5-story. I was born in a bungalow. I lived all my life in a bungalow. All right. I lived all my life in a bungalow. I got married in a bungalow or in a ground floor, not a bungalow. I was born in a bungalow, but I live all my life in a ground floor, not in an upstairs building. Then my dad built, it was a big bungalow. I got married, it was a ground floor. I went on my first missionary journey. It was a bungalow that I lived. I came back again. And the first time we had a house upstairs building was a 2-story building. Or the 2-story building, or should I say 2-story building, and we are on the last floor. That was my first time really living that high for several years. So there's a difference between what you see when you are living in a 2-story building and what you see when you are living on the ground floor. And since that time, we make sure that wherever we live we don't want to live on the ground floor, because there's also some disadvantage of living on the ground floor. Some of the advantages like air, you might not get as much air as somebody who is up there. Sometimes you become the janitor of the whole compound. People throw things around, and we don't do that in our house. And so many things just to keep ourselves away from that. So we always want to live above. So there's something I will see when I come out from my balcony. I could see beyond the wall. I could saw a car coming from down the street. Like my neighbor on the ground floor, we never see. You can hear the sound, we never see. So this is a 2-story life. Solomon was describing his life when he was living on the ground floor. And towards the end, he now moved his attention to the upper floor, where I begin to now see more. So when you're on the ground floor, many things will not make sense to you. So you get. So this is going to help you to understand the way this book will flow. This book was written majorly sharing the experience of somebody living the life under the sun. You're going to be hearing that phrase. In fact, that phrase appeared like 29 times. Maybe I'm wrong, but when you count it, about 29 times. And a life under the sun describes or defines a life where you're living in a worldly lock. You are locked into the world. Okay, all your thinking is worldly or earthly, and you are living a horizontal life. Okay, your life is to expand. Your life is I'm going to talk to you about horizontal life. The opposite of horizon or horizontal is a vertical life. So when you're living a horizontal life, your earthly reality is the reference to God is very horizontal. You are not looking up, you are only looking down. So you are locked down. Now you're going to be hearing other words like vanity. I mean, I know that Ebenezer even sang vanity upon vanity, all is vanity. Now that word in Hebrew, I'm not going to bother you with too much Hebrew, is like a Havel, like Hebel. Now that word was used a lot of times, like 38 times in the book of Hebrew. You will see it, vanity. Now, when you hear vanity, don't think worthless. Because what we think about is, worthless. No, life is not worthless. What vanity means in the real Hebrew, it literally translates vapor. That's what vanity is. Vapor, like breath, like smoke. Okay, something that is transient. No, that's what it is. So when they say everything is vanity, it doesn't mean that it is worthless. It doesn't worth. I mean, money has worth, houses have worth, everything have worth, but it is transient. And that is what this disciple was experiencing yesterday as we're talking. It was like, why are we even living? So this they describe something that it looks solid from a distance, like almost like a mirage. It looks so solid from a distance, but the moment that you try to grab it, it slips away from your finger. That is what the word vanity. So when you hear the word vanity, when we read vanity, you must know it's something that is transient. So what does that mean for me? It includes my earthly achievements, wealth, status. All those things are real, but they are transient. These things are incapable of carrying me to that ultimate place I want to wear. It can't even carry my weight. The human purpose that you have, no amount of money can carry the purpose that God has given me. No, amount of wealth, amount of achievement can carry the purpose. My purpose is heavier than the worldly thing, things around me. So when you begin to hear the things under the sun, or when I look at life under the sun, this is the horizontal life, the neutral sphere they're talking about. The existence of that is bounded by time, by physical work, by human logic, by mortality. You die. And I love how it ended. Solomon basically describes life from when you are born and how your body begins to deteriorate until you die. Last week I had to help a disciple. There was a time I gave a disciple a hearing aid. I noticed that this person doesn't hear very much, and I had to get a hearing aid. And this week I also helped somebody to fix their hearing aid. There are things that begin to break down. I remember some time ago when I went to see my mother-in-law, and I was joking with her. I said, "Mama, I'm bringing you spare parts." That's what I brought to you, spare part. I brought her hearing aid. I brought her a waist gagado to help her because she was bending. I bought her a knee something because her legs have arthritis. I was like, that is it. At that age, she's over 90. At that age. So Ecclesiastes is designed to dismantle our structural idols. After we finish Ecclesiastes, you will see life, the same way Ecclesiastes sees life. What it does that this book, for me, it deliberately exposes your bankruptcy, the bankruptcy of your secular humanism, thinking that we can solve everything, we have the power to do everything, all this extreme materialism, those horizontal ambition, that we can finally ground our soul in this unshakable. We move it from horizon to move it to a vertical reality. It was when Solomon now said, when I began to now look up and I began to see there is meaning to life. But as long as you are living a horizontal life, your life today you are here, tomorrow you are gone. You will never find meaning in life. Solomon tried everything. He married 1,000 women, 300 wives, 700 concubines. In those days, kings were required to have a wife for every day of the year. So a lot of them they'll have their olori, their queen, but they marry concubines for every day of the year. Solomon doubled it because he can. Why? Why do I can't? He can't. He built one. He tried everything. There was no war during this time because he had administrative wisdom. He knows how not to fight. So how do you make sure you don't fight? He went to go and marry all the princesses from every nation around them. Of course, when you become an in-law, you don't fight your in-law. He had that administrative wisdom, and he entered his head. And messed him up. He made gold so popular. This guy was lavish. If you think that the temple was awesome, listen, the temple was awesome. His palace was twice. So you can call him worldly. He tested everything. He tried getting drunk. He tried throwing party. He did everything. But after his eye clear, he came back to reality. So today, this class is going to help us to get back to reality. So he opens with this thunderous, what I'll call in our profession, we'll call it a thesis. When you're writing a thesis, you are writing a paper, you start with a thesis. What are you talking about? So that statement that begin to shatter human self-sufficiency. What did he say? Vanity of vanity. It says the preacher. Vanity upon vanity. Everything is vanity. It has to be, so what profit does a man have in all his labor, all these things that they were doing. You gather money and somebody else whacks all the money. Think about it. Let me just go to and begin to read it quickly. It's very short. Look at how it started. He said, the word of the teacher, they didn't say his name, or the preacher, the son of David, king in Jerusalem. Vanity or meaningless, meaningless, he shouted, says the teacher. Utterly meaningless. Everything is meaningless. Can you imagine starting a thesis like that? Well, like, what is he talking about? So he's just telling you this is what we're going to be talking about. He said, what do people gain from all their labors at which they toil under the sun? So you say that word, under the sun. On this, when they are under the sun, a life without God. He said, generation come and generation go, but the earth remains forever. What are we even doing here? The sun rises and the sun sets and hurries back to where it rises. The wind blows to the south and returns to the north. Round and round it goes, ever returning to its course. All streams flow into the sea, which is true. All streams from the sea, yet the sea is never full. So what is happening? He said, to the place that the stream comes from, there they return again. Now, this guy knew about evaporation, about the cycle of water, even before people figured it out. It goes to the stream, to the ocean, then it goes back to the stream again. He said, all things are wearisome. It's wearisome, it's burdensome. More than one can say. The eyes never has enough of seeing, nor the ear is filled of hearing. There's just so much. He said, what has been will be again. What has been done will be done again. There is nothing new under the sun. Think about it. What is new, really? To yesterday, this past we were talking about for fashion. In those days, we used to tell our children how we used to wear, bongo, Kiki Lagos clean. They don't understand. Right now, bongo is back. It's called palazzo. Remember those days in the 60s, our mothers, even if you watch the beauty pageants, at least I'll give an idea, people will tie their ashofi or this thing. It was oleku, what we call oleku in the early 90s, those short wrapper. But oleku was there in the 50s and 60s. Then oleku disappeared to maxi. People started wearing maxi. Then all of a sudden, oleku came back 90s, 2000. People started tying oleku. Right now, oleku is gone. And so many things. So whatever has been, there is nothing new under the sun. They might garnish a little bit, but when you look deep down, the essence has always been. The essence has always been there. The other day, I was talking to somebody. I was like, we are speaking Yoruba. I like when I hang out with people that can speak Yoruba very, very well. And because he helped me, even this past week, I hang out with someone who can speak Igbo very well. And he helped me to sharpen my Igbo. And I said, what do you call the internet? The guy was going on the internet. I said, Ifa Igbo. I said, what's that? He said, Ifa. You're going to go and search a bit. That's what the ancestors were doing. They go and search, or they do it through a crystal ball, or they do it through pouring down a cowries or whatever. Searching, want to know has always been there. To find out wisdom. Bible say, is there anything of which one can say, look, this is something new? It was already here long ago. It was there before our time. No one remembers the former generation. And even those yet to come will not be remembered by those who follow them. And it's true. He said, I, the teacher, was a king over Israel in Jerusalem. I applied my mind to study and to explore by wisdom all that was under the heavens. What a heavy burden God has laid on mankind. To study, I tell you, as a teacher, I tell people, it's hard to study. In fact, I try to tell you, there are too much studying. Where is the mind? Yeah, we study because we have to. But sometimes I wish I don't have to study. Sometimes I wish I don't have to know the things I know, because the more you know, it's a burden. I know a lot. Sometimes what I know, sometimes I can't share. If I share, people think I want to scatter, a lot. To be a custodian of wisdom, to be a custodian of knowledge, not wisdom now. No, not knowledge. It's a burden. Because the more you learn, you want to learn more, you want to learn more. It never stops. He said, I have seen all the things that are done under the sun. All of them are meaningless. A chasing after the wind. Everything that you do outside God, under the sun, on this earth, any earthly things, worldly ambition, I don't know. It's not meaningless. All my degrees are going to go. Everything I've acquired, every land you bought, you buy, whatever the day you die, everything is gone. So that should humble you. He said, "What's a crooked? What is crooked cannot be straightened, and what is lacking cannot be counted." I said to myself, "Look, calm down." That's what he said. He said, "I have increased in wisdom more than anyone who has ruled over Jerusalem before me." Right? I have experienced much of wisdom and knowledge. Then I applied myself to understanding of wisdom. Now, knowledge is information. But when you apply the information, then I talk about wisdom. So, okay, let me apply myself to the understanding. Understanding is now when I begin to now embed it. A lot of time you hear things, but you don't understand. Even this class this morning, they might be looking straight because understanding is another thing. Understanding is another level of learning. You acquire knowledge, but you have to understand. So you have to chew over it. You have to meditate on it. You have to be to think about it. Understanding of wisdom, and also of madness, of folly. Let me understand wisdom. Then foolishness is madness. But I learned, that this too is chasing after the wind. Even when I try to understand this thing, how much do you want to understand? For with such wisdom comes much sorrow. The more knowledge, the more grief. Now, I don't know if you are feeling what I'm feeling. So I want you to begin to reflect on your life. This teacher, he stepped forward, not as a naive idealist. No, but he came out as a seasoned king. I am a king. Look, I told you I'm a king. I've ruled Israel. Nobody has been wiser than me. I've been prosperous. See, this guy who had laid the ultimate wealth. He had unlimited wealth. He has supreme intellectual bandwidth. You know how you say, "Oh, my internet is slow because the bandwidth is short." This guy has unlimited bandwidth. He can talk about biology, about science, about geography, about botany, he named everything. But it was like, you think I'm happy? He began to now conduct this massive, what I call empirical experiments. He began to see, let me see if human satisfaction could actually achieve what I want, purely good under the sun. Now, this is a critical phrase you're going to hear again and again. So today I ask you, what are you doing under the sun? Is bankruptcy? Is vanity? Is a chasing after the wind? Look at what he says. He said, generation will come and generation will go, but the physical earth abides indefinitely. To human hustle, the hustle never stops. The sun will rise and the sun will set and hurry back to where the place he has come from again. He said the wind will blow from the north to the south, then it goes back again. All stream will flow in wherever. So he sums everything up. The psychological weight of this routine. So you are going through a grind, just going round. What are you living for? Can you imagine? Few hours ago I slept. Now I'm awake. In the next few hours, I'm going to be heading to Ojo Papa, at that last two area, because we're appointing a new evangelist today. One of the guys that that raised up on campus. Going to be there. From there to another place. I'm back again. Then tomorrow morning again, the grind stop. Igbo will say there are two professions that the Igbos don't say, man, these guys, man, they really, really struggle. They are carpenters and they are bricklayers. So they have a song for them. They will say, carpenter, bricklayer, oh, I won't dolly. Undolly is like grind. Come and get woman dolly, oh, I won't dolly. Rather than that, let me just keep on the grind. Solomon summed everything up, say, all things are full of vanity, meaningless. Man cannot express it. The eyes is not satisfied with what it says. You keep seeing, the ear is not filled. You'll be hearing, yet the ear is not filled. You'll be looking, the eye is not full. He said, without this eternal anchor, if you don't anchor yourself, human life will become a closed loop. Now, when I think of I think about Dr. Strange. If you ever watch, Dr. Strange, the madness, the quantum madness, the way Dr. Strange was able to defeat that bad guy, he put him on a time loop. Where you kill me, but you have to come back again. You kill me, you have to come back again. You have to kill me, you go kill me tired. You go kill me. When you are tired, you come and beg for me to release you. So a lot of us today, we are in a time. You think you're succeeding, you are back again. You know what? It's tiring. It's like a treadmill. You keep running, you're not getting anywhere. You keep running, endless cycle of consumption, production, then you repeat it again. You eat, then you are hungry again. Then you go and excrete again. Then you have to eat again. When will eating stop? There are three things that jump out. Number one, you will know throughout chapter 1 that life without God feels empty and it feels repetitive. Life is not exciting for you because like reading the same thing. You're like, oh, is this tomorrow again, Monday again? Like I used to say, oh man, this is the Mondayest Monday that ever Mondayed. You know what? Monday, people hate Monday. The Mondayest Monday that ever Mondayed. That is when you are living in the grind. But when you are living vertical life, your life is exciting. Somebody asked me a question yesterday at the business professional ministry. Brother Moses Obises from Abuja. He said, bro, question I want to ask, why do you do the things you do? What do you are giving? You are this is what Shani said. This training he went to, people are charging him millions for all this thing I'm doing. When I answer, I say, even me, I don't even know why I'm doing what I'm doing. But all I know is that I am a container. God has blessed me with so much gift and so much talent. If I keep it, why am I keeping it? And I want more so that I can give. If you don't understand why I'm living for, because I have found my purpose. I'm not saying this to blow my trumpet. I look forward to every day. Honestly, I do. There's so much excitement because there's so much to give. There's so much to experience. Life is not meaningless because I began looking up. But when you begin to look down, that is where you see human politics. They begin to choke you. You are like, what is all this? But when you look up, you now see what God says. So it is that vertical connection. If you have horizontal success without a vertical connection, it leads to what I'll call an acute existential fatigue. You will be tired. Like the grind again. You see, one, you cannot achieve your highest executive target that you have. You can't. You cannot scale your business enterprise. You cannot accumulate your real estate or your land and everything. You cannot acquire global prestige. If you don't have God, everything is meaningless. And if you acquire all of these things, yes, if those achievements are confined under the sun, they are only under the sun, then the invoice they're going to give, God will give you an invoice. Then the invoice of emptiness is what you are going to get. End of the day, I look at my parents' age and I literally experienced them dying, and they died, and they're no more here. All the houses, both in Lagos, in the village, they're not with it. Everything you work for, the eyes always wants to see more. The ear always wants to hear more. That means that earthly accomplishments, now they make great servant. They serve you while you are here. I mean, my car, serves me. I mean, I was in Ibadan. He drove me, brought me back. He serves me. But they can be terrible gods. When you begin to serve them, they are terrible God. They are going to hold you down. They are there to serve you. They make excellent servants, but they were terrible gods. So true purpose today in life is not found by me running faster on a treadmill. Just keep running. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just running over. Of that treadmill of worldly ambition, but what is about anchoring my work, anchoring my intellect in that eternal design of a sovereign creator. That is only when it will make sense. So this is where, when I get to this level, man, I'm so excited. And I want you to affirm with me. You have to resolve. I resolve to look past the superficial applause. Well, when applause is superficial, but tomorrow the applause will die down. I want to look past. I resolve to look past the superficial applause of these horizontal successes that I have. I have to recognize that my ultimate fulfillment, my ultimate purpose, they are anchored exclusively in relationship with God. If you don't have God, you don't have anything. They say that one with God is majority. Look at people who have lived their life, lavish life, exorbitant life, successful life, and on their deathbed, they are crying. Ask yourself, today, the second day of August, in what area of your career, think about your career, maybe your personal goal, maybe the routine you have, in what area have you been feeling kind of a subtle, kind of lingering sense of emptiness, despite even putting in tremendous efforts? Think about it. It's like you have all these things, and yet you are empty. You are not satisfied. You are not happy. You see, the second thing is what I would call the illusion of something new, novelty. Think about the first time you had your first smartphone. You couldn't sleep, I'm sure. Think about the first time you had your laptop. I mean, well, my one was a tabletop, 1990, 2004. Those days, we had Starcoms, dial-up. Oh, no, now we have digital. Dial-up. You'll be waiting. That's why we call www, not World Wide Web. To me, it was World Wide Wait. We were waiting. Dial-up, you use your phone, you plug it there, and we're patient. But now we can go on the speed fast. And that is why, Solomon, let me scroll down up in verse 9 and 10, Solomon began to dismantle human pride regarding something new. He said, that which has been will always be. That which is done will always be done. There is nothing new under the sun. Is there anything for which we can say, look, see, that is new, or that's new? See, society constantly markets the next big thing. By now, between August and September, a new iPhone will come out. It's every year. Then usually Samsung comes either before or iPhone, whatever. And you keep buying. In America, go and trade it in and get a new one. Hey, but I have the new iPhone. I have the new that, the orange one. Then the hand clapper, the clapper came, the fold one. Oh, I have a fold. But afterwards, you are tired. The next big break is coming. The next political system, don't worry, 2027 is coming. The next cultural trend. Can't you see that it's as if every admission that comes seems to be worse than the one before? People say, one is even better than this one. Oh, Jonathan better than this one. Even when we were there, it was bad. But wisdom is what reminds us that human nature, human vulnerability, human mortality, it remains completely unchanged. People are who they are, chasing after the wind. The ultimate meaning is like you chasing after the wind. Oh, don't worry, 2027. What if 2027 comes and we are worse off? Remember when the naira was 100 naira to $1? We're like, 100 naira. Right now it's 1,380. The last time I checked, I was telling somebody, I said, same my school fees. My school was 175 naira per 1 year. 175 accommodation. 90 naira space for 1 million naira minimum, if you are lucky. It's chasing after the wind. So when you look at all this, what do you say to yourself? For me, I found that I've resolved to break free from the anxiety of chasing modern trends. There was a time someone was telling me, Emmanuel, you are still using this. I used one car for 12 years. I said, but it takes from point A to point B. Oh, what are you using? You are using an Android phone. I said, yes, I can make call and go on the internet. Oh, what? Now, if you get a good phone, you have a good phone. But that is not my ambition. That's not my ambition in life. I resolve to break free from anxiety, the anxiety of chasing all this trend. I'm going to root my life in something that is timeless, something that is unshakable, something that is true in the Word of God. Ask yourself, are you spending vast amounts of emotional energy today trying maybe to stay ahead of cultural trends while you are neglecting your eternal principle that preserves your soul? Finally, from Ecclesiastes chapter 1, you will see that there's a limit for everything that we do. The limits of human intellectual philosophy, the limits of human intellectual, whatever you want to know. See, the ultimate intellectual, the ultimate, I'm looking for words right now. Something of human philosophy, whatever you want to think about. Empirical research, every single thing. Look at what verse 18 says. It says, for in much wisdom is much grief, and he who increases knowledge increases sorrow. There's so much. That is secular education, critical analysis, static, things that we do, tragic, whatever that we want to think about. That is the downfall of intelligence. Today we're talking about artificial intelligence. The one actually grown beyond. Some of us know. We're not talking about artificial intelligence. We're talking about synthetic intelligence now. It has grown beyond. I was telling somebody when we come from Ibadan, I said, do you know I cloned myself? He said, really? There was even an advert that I placed out for one of the classes that we did one time, or one of the something. People didn't know it was not me. It looked like me. It sounded like me. It talked like me. It dressed like me. But it was not me. So a time is going to come very soon, maybe before the end of this year, where I'll be teaching, the class. I can teach like 10 classes a day, but it won't be me talking. It will be my clone, and I'll put it on YouTube, and you'll be saying, "Oh, Emmanuel is preaching. How does he do this? He preach about 10 classes a day." Well, it could be, so human intelligence can analyze a problem and can get answer, but it takes divine revelation for you to supply solution. Solution comes from God. True wisdom begins for me, for everybody, when human beings begin to bow down before, the mystery and the majesty of our God. So even as somebody who is intellectually driven, I know this. I know that true answers only come from God. So because of that, I resolve to submit my intellect, my professional training, my strategic framework that I have. I submit them to a supreme illumination of the Holy Spirit. God, this is what I'm thinking. What do you think? Yeah, I know a lot. And sometimes some of those things can be mind-boggling. So I told some this I know. It's just, you don't want to know. All right. You struggle. But why do I know all these things? Most of the time I know them because I have to teach. So I need to know the bad parts, the good part, the everything part. Sometimes you can think, and you can think yourself to madness. So much strife, so much worry, so much chasing after the wind. Then after you know all these things, you now die. Isn't that funny? You live and you die. So your knowledge cannot extend your life. Everything that I will know cannot put one hair on our head. Anyway, I'm going to stop here. We have maybe about 10 minutes or maybe less. Let me hear from you. What has jumped out so far? Our call to action for today is for all of us to ask God to reveal purpose. At least in one area of your life today. Why am I doing this? Why am I here? Okay, don't allow today's introduction to just pass to become some academic analysis of the problem. Today I want you to deliberately take maybe 10 minutes, maybe during the afternoon, maybe after now, and you begin 10 minutes of silence, okay, of uninterrupted time. I want you to look at your primary areas of labor. Look at your career. Look at your business endeavor. Look at your family stewardship. Look at your ministry assignment. Look at everything that then present, one specific area that currently feels like a routine. You're just going round and round. It's just so dry, repetitive. I want to present it to to God, and I want you to pray specifically about them. And say, tell God, my God, my Father, strip away the vapor of mere human hustle from this area. You see, I'm just going round and round. Strip away. I want you to reveal your divine purpose behind this work. Why am I doing this thing I'm doing? I'm going to help me to execute it as an act of worship before your throne. The Bible says, whatever you do it as if you are serving God. Tell God, God, I don't feel I'm serving you in this thing. There's no spark in it. But I'm doing it because I have to get paid. I'm doing it because I have to just belong. But I want you to reveal why I'm here. And if this is not what I'm supposed to be doing, then reveal what I'm supposed to be doing. I want to be able to have purpose in my life.